Welcome to Huff Goes to the Movies. My name is Eric Huffman II. Most people call me Huff. Some people know that I love going to the movies. Fast X hits theaters on May 19th, and as someone who has been a fan of this franchise since the start, I figured that now would be the perfect opportunity to revisit the Fast and Furious films. So every week I'm going to talk about a different entry in the series, and obviously I will be going in release order. So if you've never seen the Fast and Furious films and you saw the trailer for Fast X and thought, wow, that looks really absurd and awesome, join me on this. I will be posting something every week for a series called Toretto Tuesdays. And I know some people might hear that and roll their eyes, but I think the fact that this franchise has endured for this long and has hit some incredible heights, it's probably gone a little too high in some moments, but the fact that this franchise is one of the tentpoles in Hollywood, despite the fact that it's not based on pre-existing source material and it's sort of organically got a very diverse cast and it's had an incredible collection of filmmakers behind it, I think it's something worth talking about. I think it's something worth celebrating, and I am so excited for the new movie, so join me on this journey of family. So, The Fast and Furious came out in summer of 2001, starring Paul Walker as Brian O'Connor, an undercover cop who is trying to find out who has been stealing these electronics from semi-trucks. So he is infiltrating the street racing world of Los Angeles, and that is where he meets a whole bunch of different characters, most notably Dominic Toretto, played by Vin Diesel. And Brian takes a special interest in the Torettos since Mia Toretto, played by Jordana Brewster, she's played by Jordana Brewster. So naturally, he's very much into her. And I remember when The Fast and Furious came out in 2001, and I thought it was really cool, but I also hadn't seen Point Break at that point in time. And then later I saw Point Break and realized, oh, so they were just doing Point Break. And while the film is probably not great by any measure, I think that this film does so many things right, and it does lay the foundation for where the franchise has been able to go. First and foremost, it introduces you to a world full of different characters, and with a few exceptions, it actually treats these characters with some bit of decency and respect. And the later films definitely lean more into the family element, but you can see it in the first film how Dominic Toretto sort of becomes this symbol of like the OG, the big brother, the father figure. He is sort of like the Don of this world. And I think that it makes sense that in all of the movies, they've really had a focus on the crew that gets assembled for the main duration of the film. And in this film, we not only get introduced to Brian and Dom, but we also meet Mia. We meet Letty, played by Michelle Rodriguez, who is really just kind of taking the role she had in Girl Fight, a movie that came out the year before, and she's just turning up that dial just ever so slightly. You've got Leon, you've got Vince, you've got Jesse, you've got some of the other side characters of other racing crews. And while this film definitely leans into the melodrama and, you know, it's kind of easy to make fun of just the very sincere music drops, like the soft piano when it's a very emotional moment or anything like that, I think this movie kind of delivers on the thrills. Now, the street racing in this first film is done with a mix of very quick, actual shots of cars, but a lot of green screen, a lot of CGI. And it's not very interesting, especially when you consider where the franchise has evolved with their practical stunt work. But I do think that some of the action scenes here actually deliver. So there, of course, is the big truck heist in the third act of the film. I think that that still holds up pretty well. And despite the fact that it is a lot of calamity playing out on what is just supposed to be a highway in California, I do think that they were able to capture a lot of that action really well, and at every moment it seems like the danger just goes up a bit. And that's something that I think the later films are missing now. It feels like the stakes just aren't that set in stone. They're not that clear. But with that first film, because they were not trying to make Dominic Toretto a superhero, you really do feel like these characters are in pretty serious predicaments, especially with that truck heist in the third act of the film. And then you've got sort of the chase down sequence that happens a little bit later towards the end of the film. But overall, I think The Fast and Furious holds up pretty well because the characters are still really interesting. And the way that they are introducing you into this world, the way that they are giving you all these little glimpses of how different people from different ethnic backgrounds, from different sort of cultural backgrounds, the way that they sort of add their impressions onto streetcars and racing culture, I really think that stuff remains fascinating. And I still really enjoy this film quite a bit. I really like this cast. Paul Walker is not great here. I think this is a role that he definitely grew into as the series progressed. But his chemistry with Vin Diesel here, and Vin Diesel's chemistry with basically everyone in this movie, I think is a lot of fun. And if you have not seen The Fast and the Furious, well, chances are you're probably not any more sold considering just how absurd the franchise has gotten. But I would say that if you're in the mood for a throwback to the early 2000s, for something that has laid the groundwork for what a franchise can turn into later on, and something that organically has a very diverse cast, a lot of colorful characters, I definitely recommend The Fast and the Furious. I am so excited that this franchise is continuing. I'm a proud fan. There's nothing anyone can say to me to take me away from that. So The Fast and Furious is a big win for me, and while it's probably a bit pointless to give star ratings at this point, I guess if I were going to give an actual rating, I'd probably go 3.5 out of 5. But anyway, that's the first entry in Toretto Tuesdays, and hopefully next time when I'm talking about Too Fast, Too Furious, I'll have had a bit more preparation since I'm actually recording on the Tuesday where I'll be uploading this, and usually I record the day before, just FYI. But yeah, Too Fast, Too Furious will be the next one in the series. I will have a playlist on the channel so that if you jump into this at any point, you can just follow it all the way through. And again, Fast X hits theaters on May 19th. I'm very excited for that. And once that comes out, I will do a ranking of the series. But we got time. We got plenty of time. There are like literally 10 other movies to get to. So I am going to leave it there. If you like this video and you like The Fast and Furious, go ahead and give this video a thumbs up. What are your thoughts on the original film, and what are your rankings for the Fast and Furious franchise? Join me in the comments and let me know. Also, if you have not already, please do subscribe to the channel and hit the bell icon. That way you can stay up to date on everything that I'm doing here, not just the Toretto Tuesday stuff. Once again, my name is Eric Huffman II. Most people call me Huff. Stay sweaty, my friends. Salute me familia, and I'll see you at the movies. Peace.